All right, let's go on to watch this, jerks.
Yeah.
It's time to talk about the things we've been watching.
Yeah. Shipwreck, you watched the movie. I can't wait to hear about it.
Am I the only one that watched this?
Yeah. Well, Sabrina wants to watch it with her friends in the house. And so we're like waiting for her to be available. Again, I talked about this at the top of the show.
Sure. So. Yeah, so I watched Turning Red, the new Disney Pixar film.
About becoming a communist?
It's not about, you would think that from the title,
right?
But it's not. So I went into this pretty much blind. Like I knew magical movie about a young girl, changing into a red panda, right? Like that's the trailer that I saw. Apparently there's different trailers out there.
Okay,
but,
sure.
It's really good. I will say that it's really good. But the whole time when I'm watching with my 8-year-old and my 5-year-old, right? Like it starts off and there's about like I don't know, maybe 15-minute section where it's just all about this character getting her period, or they think that that's what's happening. Right?
What do you mean? It's either that or she's got a leak somewhere.
Well, no, it's that she's really turning into a panda.
Oh,
but there's this weird thing about it, like where you're on board with like, oh, okay, I see the analogies, the symbolism here, like they're going for maybe maybe that's just the symbolism throughout, but then it like turns into like, no, this is about a panda.
A menstruating panda.
So it's like the entire time you're thinking through it, like, did I miss the thread here where there was an analogy and like how does this
the correct word to use.
Correct, right? Of like,
I think it's a string.
Okay, string. Did I miss the string here?
Dangling string
on what was the symbolism and what turned into like the actual thing? Because like the entire movie, I'm sitting here thinking, okay, are we talking about periods now? Like, am I trying to relate this back to periods, or
Pandas.
are we a magical panda now?
I'll have to watch it and let you know.
It's cute. It's just I think
sponsored by Kotex or something.
No, there's no. It's a Pixar movie. There's no like product placement or anything.
No.
It's just I did not like, now like looking back at it, seeing the title of it, it's like, oh, okay, I kind of see what that is. Like, but you look at like the cartoon characters, and there's no way I can tell if that cartoon character is like of that age. It looks like any other like cartoon young character. You're like, I don't know, that could be a 7-year-old, that could be a 15-year-old. I can't tell.
Right. I'm not gonna watch this. I'm pretty sure.
You're not gonna watch it?
No.
I don't think you need to.
No.
It's not about, I don't think, at least. I don't think it's about the period for the entire movie.
Again,
you wouldn't understand.
I think our plan is to see it. I mean, maybe this weekend. I don't know. Between Moana performances, we'll try to squeeze that in.
There was a couple jokes in there that made me chuckle.
Something about like wings, or like
Mrs. Shipwreck just looking at me uncomfortably.
Why is this happening around me?
Right.
She's a doctor. What doesn't she know?
Yeah, she doesn't want to deal with this shit at home.
Women do what now? Did she say that out loud?
She's like, why are we watching this? Who picked this movie? Isn't there another fucking Marvel series we could be watching?
She wanted to watch that new Ryan Reynolds time travel movie. And I wasn't sure if that one was going to be age appropriate or not. But
I want to see that one
about
too.
That. So I steered us towards Turning Red, because that's what the kids want to see, because they're just getting like blasted with Turning Red like images up on Disney Plus, right? Like, just
were
right
they
in
asking a lot of questions afterwards?
Not really. I mean,
what does heavy flow mean? No, they didn't ask that.
They didn't ask that one. No. No, it was more, me and Gretchen being confused at just like the
the metaphors.
At the metaphors that were like somehow branches off into different ways, and they're like, of course, not getting the metaphors at all. So they're like, "What do you mean you're confused? Like she was turning into a panda."
Right.
So, well, in our house, it came up in conversation just this evening because my son wanted to watch it. My son also said very loudly, "It's about periods, isn't it?" To which my daughter said, "Do you even know what that is?" And he was like, "I think so." And then she explained it in very clinical detail to him.
Did he throw up?
No, but it was pretty funny to listen to.
I still remember this guy throwing up in 5th grade when we watched the sex education film.
Yeah.
That was rough.
We had someone pass out for me, but not throw up.
Right.
We had a pass out, not a throw up.
Yeah.
There was a lot of like, I don't know. It almost felt like they were edging on PG-13 with this Pixar movie, just in kind of the sexuality that was being introduced.
Right.
And it's kind of weird because you're watching this kids movie about 13-year-olds that are like becoming like they're going through puberty, right? But it's focusing more of like, okay, like on the like sexual attraction to the like there's a boy band in it, right?
Oh, yeah.
And they're like all
panda
like
gets tingly.
Yeah.
The panda starts rubbing against the tree while listening to the music.
It's almost that, but it's a PG Pixar film. Right. So you're not quite, we at least weren't quite prepared for like some of the scenes. The kids were fine with it. It's just like, it's kind of going over their heads.
Right.
But doesn't that mean that they made it right? Like if your kids didn't quite get it, but you did, doesn't that?
Maybe, but it's a little edgier than what most Pixar stuff is.
I'm looking forward to watching it.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that turning red is the longest topic that we talk about on this week's show.
I mean, there's not much else.
Perfect.
I literally watched nothing in the last week other than I honestly think I just caught up on Tournament of Champions and Saturday Night Live, and that was probably it.
We started watching a new con man series on Netflix called The Puppet Master.
Oh, I thought it was about the movie with the killer puppets.
I was really excited about this, and it's not.
Me too.
It's pretty. I mean, it's pretty fucked up.
I want to watch Puppet Master some more.
You should watch that with your kids.
I think
they love puppets.
Little stabby ones.
Yeah.
The one with the big hat.
This is real, and
they're taking out Nazis, right? Was it taking out Nazis?
Yeah, there's the I don't think that's the first one though. It's not like
2 or 3.
There's one of the Puppet Master movies they kill exclusively Nazis. There's the guy with the little head and he's got the big almost like triangle body. Yeah.
I love this. Thank you for bringing this up, Cheapy.
Yeah. Anyway,
let's talk about the Miss Marvel trailer.
You don't know
Puppet Master. What you were going to talk about your show?
It's another con show. You know the story. If you've watched the Twitter Tinder swindler.
I didn't know the story on those legs that you're showing there.
Yeah, we can see your legs.
I'm wearing shorts.
Nice.
It was warm today. Yeah.
Did anyone else watch the Ms. Marvel trailer or just me?
I watched it on my phone with the sound off for like 10 seconds.
I figure I'll go in blind on this.
You probably are better off. I mean, have you ever read any of the Ms. Marvel comics?
I have read a lot of Ms. Marvel. I enjoy Ms. Marvel.
Those comics are amazing. I love them. So here's the big thing. First of all, when you watch it, especially if you've read the comics, you'll recognize all of her friends like immediately. They did a really good job with the casting, and you see people that go, "Oh, I know who that is," and I know who that is, and it's kind of fun if you're like me and Chip and have read all the comics. And if you haven't, you'll learn who these people are, and you'll learn to love them too. But that's not the point. Like even like when they show her brother, and I'm like, "Oh my god, that's her brother!" In the trailer. So I was kind of into that. What they did, which I'm sort of growing to accept, and I'll be okay with it. Like, let's face it, at the end of the day, it's a Ms. Marvel TV show, and I'm going to watch every episode, and I'm going to love the show. We all know this. But they changed her superpowers.
Is she not embiggen?
She does not embiggen.
What?
Uh-huh.
That's kind of her thing.
It's expensive to do that.
No, she does not. She doesn't get what they show. She gets like power bands.
She gets swollen.
Wristbands.
Okay.
And it gives her like almost like a Green Lantern-y kind of power, where she can make big hands.
She makes big hands that way.
Yes. So it's not the traditional embiggen.
Can she have an accident in the middle of the show where all of a sudden now she embiggens?
I mean, it's sort of interesting, but
it's going to be too expensive
because they don't want to do the CGI for
right.
a TV show.
That's what most people think. That and also the bands look like the quantum bands, which belong to the superhero Quasar, but also ties into the Kree and the whole stuff with Captain Marvel and Photon. That I think they're setting up for the yeah. So it's sort of like this way. It makes her more in tune with the whole cosmic superhero thing, as opposed to the Inhuman thing that I think they're trying to get away from.
They're trying to downplay that one.
Yeah,
they made something with that, right? Didn't they make it an Inhuman thing?
They made the worst show I may have ever seen for Inhumans. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but
no, that doesn't exist anymore, right? They probably don't. Do they even show that anywhere?
It's on Disney Plus.
They still have that on Disney Plus. You have to know like the secret menu though to get to it.
The Queen of the Inhumans, for those who don't know, is a character named Medusa, who's been around since the 1960s. Her superpower is that she can control her hair to do whatever it wants, and it's indestructible. In the first episode, they shave her head.
It's expensive to make those snakes.
Right. Yeah. Cut down on that CG budget.
Cut down on that. Then don't make the show. It's basically, it's like, what's the point of doing the show? But anyway, Ms. Marvel, I was curious to see your reaction, Chip, on the power shift.
I don't like it initially. I mean, I'll live with it. There's plenty of she's in plenty of other things now, right?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of surprised they're going with a TV show with her as her first introduction.
I mean, it looks like they're really just going to take that first run of the comics and just make it a show. I mean, it doesn't seem like they're going to change up that much, which again isn't a bad thing. I still think they're building up this whole Champions, Young Avengers thing anyway. So, Kate Bishop and Black Widow 2 and all of those folks. Stature.
I don't know Stature.
Fun.
I don't believe.
Stature is a person. She's already shown up.
Sure
she was in Endgame.
How'd she do?
She did all right. She's Scott Lang's daughter. Remember, he rings the doorbell and she opens it up and she's like crying. That's that's it.
The little girl, the one that drives down the stairs in the box.
Yes, but then they aged her up for Endgame so that she could be a superhero later on without it being weird.
Obviously, I haven't watched that movie enough.
Too Star Warsy. A little bit too much. Like everybody's kid has to be a superhero, even if it doesn't make sense.
It's been a thing for like, I don't know, 15 years.
I know, but
it's not like they just made it up right now.
Stature, huh?
Stature. Yeah.
Great name.
She stands up straight. Is that her power?
I didn't make up that name. The guy who created the OC made up that name.
Excellent posture. Always at all times. You can't push her over.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
My dream power.
Oh, and the Patriot. He was in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. He showed up briefly. He's the grandson of the old black guy that was the first Captain America.
I remember that guy.
Yeah. Yeah. His grandson who opens the doors. Like, he doesn't live here.
The guy that opens the door.
Yeah. Again, I think you see the pattern here.
Yeah. Great.
They all
he did a great job of opening the door.
They all open the door and they
stand there and you go, I know that guy. I clapped.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
So
I feel like I don't need to have everybody in every scene of a Marvel program be somebody.
Everybody's got to be somebody.
You're not going to get hired at Marvel with that attitude.
Exactly.
Forget about it.
Just you wait. You're going to open your door and you'll be like, oh my God, it's somebody.